Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of your weekly dose of higher wisdom.
Welcome.
Week, we're diving into the secret of success and abundance.
Whatever that means, for whoever that means.
Well, we're going to dive into what does that really mean? Perfect. Here we go on Instagram.
And again, fair warning, folks. A lot of what we say is based on our ability, our observation, and our own experience. A lot of what we talk about is not necessarily a judgment on anything.
If you perceive it as a judgment, then we'll invite you to go into your body and feel where you are receiving that as a trigger, because we do come with a trigger disclaimer. We are going to trigger you. And triggers are opportunities to heal. So in talking about success and abundance, the biggest trigger that's going to get poked is the poverty consciousness program. The patriarchal programming that says you have to do X, Y, Z in order to create success, abundance. Because if you think about it, what is success and abundance? And I know we have this conversation all the time as I have had to plow through a lot of barriers to success and abundance. And I'll share my story and then you share your story and then we can dive into...
Well, before you start, let's be honest. I mean, it's your interpretation of what success and abundance is. It is what the expectation of what we buy into as success and abundance. Look how many people tell us that our work doesn't work because we're not quote unquote successful.
Well, right? And that's exactly where I was going to go with my story. So, because my story has been the driving reason for why I'm on this journey to heal. Having 4 chiropractic practices in 3 different countries, I was a chaser of success and abundance, or what I had determined as success and abundance based on my upbringing, which I grew up until 8th grade. I grew up financially privileged. I had everything. We were building a custom dream home of my father's. He was building a home with literally a basketball court in the basement. It was his dream.
I saw that basketball court in the basement. That's still trippy.
And while he did manifest it, what I also witnessed is just in the middle of building this dream home for his family, he got hit with a lawsuit. And he literally lost everything and was almost going to lose his dream home that he was building for his family. And in witnessing him losing his abundance, that compounded this programming that I bought into that humanity sells. Well, not necessarily humanity, but the patriarchal programming sells us on this. You have to work hard in order to be successful, in order to have financial abundance. And then being able to witness my father losing all of that money in $1 million lawsuit that was unjust in terms of whose fault it was. It wasn't his fault, but the laws are, a little lopsided. That really anchored in this. When I look at wealthy people, just because they have wealth doesn't mean they don't have poverty consciousness programming. They are afraid to lose the wealth that they do have. They're afraid everybody is out to take their wealth or to get their wealth or to manipulate them or to be their friends. You can't trust people. And this is what we hear from our wealthy friends. They can't trust that people actually want to just be their friend because, well, they're wealthy. So wealth doesn't necessarily mean that you are free and healed of all of this programming around poverty consciousness, success, abundance, work, go, do.
So can I interrupt for a second?
Yes, you can. You can tell your story now.
No. I don't have to. I just wanted to touch on a couple of things that you said. You opened 4 practices in 3 countries. To most people, now let's not forget, every place you open to would considered an exotic location. You opened a practice in Porto, Portugal, where after work you can go sit on the river and have port
wine
that came right across the river. So for most chiropractors, and again, if I'm speaking out of turn, please correct me, but for most of your colleagues who graduated with you in 2008, the idea of living abroad, much less living in Europe, much less living in Porto, which is one of the most sought after cities in Portugal, would be that in itself would be success, would be considered successful, whether or not the practice itself was successful. Just the
Absolutely.
ability to live in a foreign country in a foreign language and open up a practice and start seeing patients.
Well, and I
Then
moved there with literally a couple of suitcases, didn't know the language, didn't know anybody in Portugal. To me, that was exciting. That was adventurous. That was success in just being able to accomplish something that felt impossible.
then you move to a beach town. Well, first of all, before you moved to Porto, you were living in Scottsdale, Arizona. Another place that
vacation town.
another place that people spend thousands of dollars to come visit, much less live there, much less open up a practice in Scottsdale, Arizona. So two checked out on the list of what would be considered, because again, after all, you graduated, you grew up in Ohio, graduated out of Iowa. So the concept of living in Scottsdale, Arizona and working, having your own business there, that would be considered successful. Then you move to two cities, two beach towns in Mexico, sought after. I mean, Puerto Vallarta, Nuevo Vallarta is where everybody wants. It's Cabo and Nuevo Vallarta. That's the two places that people want to go. And you lived on the beach.
That I did.
In a gated community.
Did a lot of sporting events on the beach.
Driving a Mercedes Benz that was wrapped up with your business. That the cartels were your clients. The governor was your clients. The federales, the military, everybody in town knew who you were. So even that. So check number 4 would be like, wow, in the eyes of a chiropractor who's graduating, just living in one of those places would have been considered successful.
Well, my mentality was, if I'm going to work, I'm going to work where I love to live. I'm going to work in paradise, because why not? Why do I have to live and work in my, Podunk town, Fairborn? And nothing wrong with Fairborn, but I could never imagine moving back there.
But here's the thing. You take it as though it's no big deal. Hey, why not, right? Do you know, again, 25 plus years in corporate America. That's how long I spent building businesses successfully. Do you know in corporate America how many people would trade a right arm to be able to go, wait, I can enjoy where I live. I can actually drive to work and go work during the day. And lunchtime, go sit on the beach and have lunch. And in the evening time, I get home. I can either go to the gym, go for a bicycle ride, or just take my surfboard and walk across the street and go surfing.
Or paddleboarding.
In
Rocky Point, we went paddleboarding after work every day.
So any one of those things would be considered successful. And now look at where you are. And you talk about the wealthy people. So like I said, there is 4 things that I could check out quite easily that people in, especially chiropractors who are graduating, would look at you and go, she made it. She was successful. You retired at 39. And you're like, I'm done. And I am living in one of the most, it's like like we always say, it's the Martha's Vineyard of Panama. All our neighbors are the wealthiest, most powerful people in the country. They come in on the helicopters.
Because they don't want to waste time driving in traffic, because they're so busy and they have to work, and be on their phone.
Even that concept is successful. But then, before I tell my story, let's finish with yours. You and I were the last 2 people to see your father alive.
Yeah.
We were the last people to have to talk to him before he went into surgery and then passed away so many.
What was he doing?
Working.
Had that phone by his hospital bed.
He had commitments to make to his clients. Forget the fact that he had a $40,000 Harley Davidson in his garage that who has now? Who knows? But it was the concept of course, he had about a half a dozen motorcycles. So again, what do we measure success from?
What is our definition of success?
So again, from my story, I'm a little like blown away, because every single thing that I have accomplished wherever I was in life would be deemed successful from where I came from. I grew up one of 8 children. It's a sugarcane farmer. I've been swinging a machete since I was old enough to hold one. So I knew nothing but, and imagine 8 children and 2 adults in a 3-bedroom house. You've been to my
I
house.
saw the house, absolutely.
So imagine 10 people living there. And my brothers, as they grew older, didn't just leave. If anything, just like living here in Panama, they had a girlfriend that turned into a potential spouse or a spouse. They brought them home, and my mother made the arrangements to figure out the logistics of how to make this work.
Or build on a room.
Exactly. So me going to Canada at 17 illegally, getting papers, and put myself back working through whatever jobs I had to do because I wasn't prejudiced of any job to get to where I could work in a corporate world. My dream job was always, well, how fun would it be to have a company credit card and go just take clients out and pitch clients on ideas, and that's your job. Travel around the world and just that's your job.
And you created that.
I created that, and that's the job I had for 25 plus years in so many different industries.
And then when I came into your life, it just so happened we got to travel together.
Exactly.
And I could coordinate my consciousness workshops and seminars.
So even that, I bought a house like within, when I stop and I think about it, I came to Canada 17, then went back home for a little while, and then came back at 19. Again, Canada had no visas at the time, so they didn't care. But less than 10 years later, coming into Canada illegally, I bought a house and got a job transfer to the United States. That, like, even
To
that would be
Scottsdale, Phoenix.
that would be considered successful for a lot of, especially growing up, spending time in Canada, where you're just like, oh, living in the US, especially in Arizona, that would be like the ideal, right? Check. Then I look back on my life, and that's why I always tell you, if I could have stopped and been okay at any stage, when people were losing their shit in 2008, I was buying
You were on the
homes.
other side. You were evolving.
I blew myself away that I was debt free in 2009. Like I owned a home and didn't owe anybody anything, less than 10 years of being in the United States. So 10 years seems to be my mark. But so when I look back, and again, now with you going through with you in Mexico, doing my own thing, working in real estate, leaving a 6-figure income job in the US that I was allowed to continue living in Mexico and keep. And I chose
predictable income.
I'm out.
For unpredictability.
So any one of these things, we look at ourselves and we can see from the way the world works right now would be considered successful. But is it really?
Well, that's where we're going to dive deeper into, because we have these lenses of success and abundance. Because if we could truly, for example, go back into those, let's say I'll just go back to Puerto Vallarta and my practice, there was always more. I kept chasing more. Well, I got to grow my practice, and I need more patients, and I need more of this, and I need more of that, and I have more events to do. And there was always this more, chasing success and abundance without actually seeing, wow, okay, you know what, exactly where I'm at. Yes, I don't have millions in the bank.
But,
yes, I'm still worried where money's going to come from because it's still unpredictable.
But think about it though. You were living in a gated community on the beach, driving an ML63, your own practice, working for yourself, custom built house, paid for. And like you said, not with a lot of money remaining, but you didn't owe anybody anything. That would be successful for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
But like what I asked you the other day, which was why we ended up choosing this topic. But were you happy? Because it was one of the most stressful times in our relationship.
Absolutely, it was.
So from the outside, it looked like, oh my God, they have their shit together.
They live in
he works in real estate. And I remember going and showing a house on the beach, and I'm like, this is my job. Like sitting on the beach waiting for the client to show up. Like, okay, this is a real job, right? Yeah. You sell that, you get thousands of dollars. I'm like, what the hell? But were we happy?
We were still working 6 days a week, living in paradise, because there was that drive for more. And even if you were to tell me back then, Shelly, just stop. Can you just look at the success and abundance you have? It wouldn't have resonated with me. And multiple times I fought you. You wanted me to go do something different. And I'm like, but I can't just go do something different. I could, but I don't want to. Because for me, this very topic was what propelled me onto this path. Not only did I know more was possible in terms of healing, I knew that doing another system, another structure, another webinar, another program that some chiropractor is selling to make six figures and how to make your practice work, I knew that wasn't going to be the solution. And I see so many chiropractors on Facebook and Instagram today. Any of these programs, systems, structures that promise them six figures, oh my God, thousands of comments. And it's like, trying on other people's systems, structures, and programs never worked for me. If anything, it made things more confusing in my office. It wasn't in alignment with my energy of my office. And two, it just felt like I was chasing money, which in the chiropractic world, and I will say this, and for all the chiropractors out there who get triggered by this, unfortunately, with the student loans the way they are, the cost of chiropractic education, chiropractors today have to see patients within a few minutes and
50 to 60 patients
rotate them in and out just to make a living. And then they have to charge insurance for all these additional therapies just to make a living. Where for me, I didn't want to fight insurance companies. I didn't want to play that game, because when I did, I started losing my passion for chiropractic. I'm like, well, now chiropractic isn't fun because I have to spend all my time either on the phone with Medicare or hiring someone to fight for me, which then I was paying more than what I was receiving from Medicare, Medicaid, or any of the insurance companies.
But look at how many chiropractic friends we have. Look at how many of them are literally, yes, from the outside as a patient, you go in and you think these people got their shit together. They live in I remember my two friends who were chiropractors. They were boyfriend and girlfriend when I met you. They lived in my neighborhood, so I figured they're making good money. They drove Mercedes, but they both had brand new vehicles, Mercedes and Audis, and from the outside, they look very successful.
Of course.
But I was friends with them, so I knew differently.
The inside.
So again, it's that perception, again, coming from the corporate world, where I travel with a lot of corporate people who were making six-figure incomes, who were buying the nice boats and the RVs or the fifth wheel or what have you, who were living in nice neighborhoods or had vacation homes and all of that, but they weren't happy.
Not at all.
Just like two friends who I still stay in touch with, although I've left corporate for 15, 16 years now. Remember, just recently, they're like, you are the freest person we know. Like, how the fuck did you pull this off? Like, you're not even 60 and you're retired, you're done, and you're living. You send pictures to us that blows our minds.
Where are we at today? Let's see.
So for us, our measurement of success really is, are we happy?
Are we happy?
It's not, we've been there, done that. I look back on my life at the vehicles I've owned, at the houses that I've owned. Look, when we left in the US, I was up to like 4 houses I had, bank owned three of them. I owned one of them, but from the outside, I would have been considered successful. Custom bike, beautiful cars, but I wasn't happy. So today, I'd rather have my 16-year-old vehicle that I'm ecstatic with.
Because it's our dream vehicle. We've always wanted this vehicle.
And look, we just went and bought used bikes the other day, and we're happy with them. Like,
because they're like brand new.
For us,
and they ride amazing.
For us, they are brand new.
We don't need to spend thousands of dollars on a brand new bike just to be happy.
Well, it cost somebody thousands of dollars. It didn't cost us. But look at our reality. And people don't believe us when we tell them. We wake up every day and choose, what do we want to do today? It looks like no clouds today. You want to go to the waterfall? You want to go river searching? You want to go to the beach? Like, what do you want to do today?
And that's where I was like, okay, before today's live, we're going to go for a bike ride.
Which we did.
And after today's live, we're going to go to the hot springs.
We are. Okay.
Yeah. And yesterday we went exploring a lake.
Yeah. So it's just, but do we care about, and this is the biggest thing. For me, is there more? Yes. more of my awakening and more of my healing. It's not so much the material measurement anymore. It's about my level of contentment in life. Am I at peace in life? Like we always say, we get up, there's no reason, we're both semi-retired, apart from our retreat center and what we, like you were told recently, yesterday, was it yesterday? No, the day before.
The
You
day
were on a
before.
podcast with this lady with 3 successful books and over 2 million followers.
Millions
And
of followers.
what did she ask you? Like, Shelly,
Sounds like you've got everything figured out. Somatophobia is everything. You have discovered what your soul came here to do.
so
What
why
you're
are you
looking
doing
for.
what you're doing?
Why are you here?
You're
Why are
successful.
you not just out there enjoying life? And it's like, I am enjoying life, and I'm here doing this for Mother Earth. And a lot of people, and this is another interesting point, because another brother asked me recently, so if your medicine works so well, then why do you not have hundreds of people
Coming
in
to your
your
book reading, coming
readings
to
and
your
your
kriyas
ceremonies?
and-
And I sat with that question. I didn't answer him because, one, I don't want to fight, but two, it's like, wow. So this programming, this lens or veil that we wear, that only those with millions of followers, it's this whole influencer paradigm
This is
where you
we
have
are.
to be an influencer. You got to be famous. You got to have lots of money. You have
be
to put on a
successful.
certain look in order to be perceived and received as successful by somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, your book must not be good because
It's not selling by the millions.
And I think it was Aubrey Marcus or Joe Rogan, when I submitted to be on their podcast, how many followers do you have on social media? Everything for them was about how many followers do you have? How much money do you
the
make?
measurement of success
How
today.
successful are you?
Yeah.
And it's like, but wait a second. I have beautiful knowledge and wisdom that it works for me. I desire to share with others who are looking. But if my message can't get out there because I don't have millions of followers
And
and I don't
algorithm is
have
against
millions
you.
of people in my ceremonies because people's trauma selves or ego is so afraid to show up to do real healing, then for me, my version of success, and I have a lot of different versions of success and I've experienced them, and they're not what society would deem as successful. Society would be like, oh, yeah, whatever. For example, I tell this story on podcasts all the time. Being able to guide women in a ceremony where their children come in and touch them and receive the healing when the healing is occurring, being able to be a witness to that level of generational healing being passed on from mother to son or mother to daughter.
And this is not just
that is success.
But this is not just woo-woo stuff. When the child actually says,
Mommy, I hear something in my ear. I heard something pop and I hear
feel something.
buzzing and I'm feeling something.
When the mother actually is feeling the
Like,
healing being passed on
wow.
from one generation right in front of you, this is not just woo-woo stuff. You're actually experience your success unfolding, because everything that you birthed in the book and your kriyas and everything else, literally, we have no gurus. We are not
our own gurus.
We are not regurgitating a course and a
We
certificate
didn't need to
that
get
we took.
certified.
We are not regurgitating somebody else's idea of something that this is our interpretation of it. And let's do that in such a way with the right tags and the right SEOs, and we can get millions of followers. So therefore we're successful.
We're successful
But
and our shit works.
the reality of it is that, does it really? Does it work
really?
for you?
Well, I've worked with a lot of influencers and they're absolutely miserable. They're struggling in their life, struggling in their relationship, but what they portray to the world is, look how happy and successful I am. But
Well-
behind closed doors, they're not happy and they're not successful.
Again, look at the recent podcast you did. The podcaster cannot make time to spend 2 hours, your inner healing, your inner growth.
You want to
Cannot.
hear the 3 different excuses? And this is how we block our success and abundance as well. Real success and abundance.
But before you tell it, they can't make time because they're successful. They're being pulled in 50 directions at once.
We have to question, is it even success? Because the first excuse was, my calendar is booked until the end of 2025. I have no time to even explore any other kind of healing.
No matter how
modality.
much it works.
No
I don't
matter
have
how
time.
much it works, I don't have time till the end of 2025 because I'm so successful. And then face to face, the excuse is, oh, your ceremony's at 10 a.m. I wake up at 10 a.m. I'm a night owl, so I can't wake up a little bit earlier to join a healing ceremony.
Even if it's going to make my life happier and raise my vibration. Continue.
And then the third excuse that I received today is, well, my husband and I are moving, so
When?
I don't have any schedule availability until June.
So you
So
cannot
three
take
different
2 hours.
excuses. And I'm like, well, which one is real? Which one is true?
Trauma.
And this is the ego or the trauma self. In our free book readings, have a fellow chiropractor who he attended one. And in the book reading, he shared, oh my God, guys, all day long, I'm seeing patients, and I think it's my ego, but it was one voice after another. You shouldn't go to the book reading. You need to do this. You should do that. Do this, do that. Cancel the book reading. Don't go, don't go, don't go. All day long, he was battling this inner voice, this inner demon, telling him not to go to the book reading. And this is what we are, quote unquote, up against, humanity's ego, which is so afraid to lose power and control over its person, its human. So the ego is the biggest blockage to 1, success and abundance, and 2, real healing, real happiness, real success and abundance. Because even if we look at just the 3D version of success and abundance, how many people are limiting their success and abundance? From the 3D world, chasing after money, financial abundance. Well, I can't do this because blah, 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 blah. I can't think outside the box and do something different with my business because, that feels uncomfortable. So even in that world, the ego still makes excuses for success and abundance.
And when we say ego,
trauma self,
we're literally referring, and I know for those of you who've never heard one of our talks before or follow us, when we refer to ego, we refer to trauma. So not the ego that you think, oh, look at me, I'm so amazing. It's the trauma self, trauma/ego.
And again, we'll do a separate video on ego so you all can go discover it. But we are living in a time where 75% of our connection is to our ego and only 25% of our connection is to our higher self. So who's running the show?
I would say it's even less than that.
I would say it's even less than that because we're nearing the end of Kali Yuga. We're not in the midst of Kali Yuga, which was in general 25% connection to divinity. So when I look at my version of success and abundance, it doesn't have to look like what other people expect it to look like, specifically humanity. And one of the things that, again, success and abundance was kind of my thing. Money was a big issue in our relationship because I wasn't contributing enough. And I was working 6 days a week. And it was like, what else can I do to contribute enough? Like I'm doing everything I can, but the money's just not flowing. And as long as I stayed attached to chasing money, money eluded me. And no matter what I did, like I said, no matter what external program, structure, this, that, let me change the external reality of my chiropractic practice. Let me add another chiropractic doctor. Let me add a physiotherapist. Let me add a massage therapist. Let me add an acupuncturist. I grew my team and Absolutely. I added all of those people thinking
were you happy?
That was going to be the key to success, but I wasn't. I was not happy at all. If anything, that added more work, more time, more stress, and I just wasn't happy. So that contributed to this burnout that I hit where 1, I knew more was possible in terms of healing. And 2, I knew that the version of success and abundance that I was chasing after having tried The Secret and the Law of Attraction in 2005, 2006, when it all came out, none of that worked either.
We've done it all.
So when I was trying to heal my blockages to success and financial abundance, nothing was working. And I knew that I had to heal me. That was the only thing that was going to work. I had to align to my higher path, no matter what that looked like. And that's why finally, when I chose to, let go of my chiropractic practice, well, what do? Do I sell it or do I give it away? Do I sell it? Oh, the money sounded so enticing.
Of course, you're making
$80,000
in Mexico.
And I could have walked away and been at peace to write my book for the next 3.5, 4 years, never having to worry about money and supporting ourselves. But I checked in with psilocybin and cannabis, and they both were like, so are you willing to test yourself on this relationship with money? Are you willing to risk losing selling it and just give it away to receive your higher path. It was a money challenge for me. And immediately I went to my office, and my office was flooded. Literally, sewer pipe exploded in my office. Got the message. Okay, this is the shit blockage in my life. Time to let it go. Time to get rid of it. And it was so interesting watching this act of me giving it away to my fellow chiropractor working for me. Best
Fresh out of
Christmas
school.
Christmas gift ever. in
25
July.
years old and I get an
Wait,
$80,000
what?
business handed to me. Are you
Hand
out
it
of your
to me?
mind? With clientele based and all the equipment and everything all set up? You gotta be kidding me.
I was him. Wow. But he didn't pay a single dime for it. And what happened to him? He ran my business into the ground. We were at 26 to 30 patients a day. He was down to 3 patients a day if he was lucky. So I let him struggle for 6 months. We would go and get adjusted and, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm struggling. Until one day we sat him down and we were like, listen, there was no exchange. You received this for free. What can you afford? At least cover the equipment.
It is the law of the universe. There has to be an exchange of energy. If there isn't an exchange of energy, we see it with children when you give them everything and they don't have to work for it or anything. They don't know how to appreciate it.
Creates
so
the entitlement wound.
there isn't that exchange of energy.
Literally, once he paid off the payment plan that we had
Which
created
was
with
a
him,
tiny little bit of money.
$5,000 just for the equipment. Boom! He was successful again to the point that he's now relocated to a better office and was able to buy a home.
But it was interesting because the brother who had told you that, well, why, if Dr. Shelley, if what you're doing is so successful, why don't you have 200 people at your book readings? And why don't you have 200 people at your Kriyas? One of the things, and this is what I remember telling you, one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that the lifestyle that we are living now, those people, the Tony Robbins, the Joe Dispenza, the people who are generating, like they can fill a stadium, the lifestyle that we're living, we know those people. They would happily exchange their lifestyle with the millions of dollars that they have for our lifestyle, which is get up and do whatever you want. Like wake up in the morning, be a nobody.
Right?
Nobody chases you. Nobody's harassing. Oh, you got this meeting and you got to be here and you got to go. You have a conference over there and this presentation over here and this meeting over there. They would love to be able to go, wow, you guys have just literally unplugged and you're done with the matrix. Yeah.
But so all of these people who are out there striving,
being successful
for more, I need to fill up conferences. I need to travel 11 months out of the 12 months of the year and never be home, never spend time with my partner, never see my children, never get to go on vacations. Why are they really doing what they're doing? Isn't it to eventually retire and get to the part of life that we're enjoying?
Well, you certainly enjoy life. And I saw that for a lot of people. What vacation? I did that for 25 years. Yes, I can afford a great vacation. I can go to Hawaii and spend 2 weeks because of all my points for traveling and everything else. But it took me 2 days, 2 to 3 days just to unplug. And I always had to have my phone next
just
to me.
In case.
Which client needs you? Which meeting you got to do on virtual? Like to the point where, am I really on vacation?
Right.
Now, half the time, I don't even carry a phone anywhere. And the only reason we do is to take pictures or in case of emergency.
Or to listen to some music.
Other than that, we couldn't be bothered. Most of the places we go to, you have cell coverage.
Right.
So the ability to unplug from all of that, even family.
Freeing.
It's just, we're done.
Because if the financial system collapses tomorrow,
It
we're
is.
actually happy. We're
is.
prepared and we're happy. We're kind of sitting back waiting, going, okay, so when's it going to collapse? When's it going to collapse?
I'm watching this unfold because I've always been one who's stayed, and because I came from the tech industry, I've stayed a little plugged in to see what's happening. And anybody who doesn't believe that this fiat currency is coming down, look, all you have to do is look across in Europe right now. So all the people who are quote unquote successful in their jobs, we're watching AI unfold, which is a whole different topic. We're watching.
That's actually the topic of our next book reading.
Which is when?
Saturday, April 12th, in honor of the full moon. It's going to be a Saturday evening this time, just to align with the full moon instead of a Friday. But we're going to go down the AI trap because AI is we're going to discuss that in the book reading.
Yeah.
So join us then.
So when we start looking at these people, it's mind-boggling. I watched something the other day that says in the UK, they're losing a billionaire every 43 minutes in the UK. A millionaire, sorry. Every 43 minutes in the UK, they're losing a millionaire. That means that the people are like, I don't want to live here anymore. I'm going to take my money and go run away to some place where I can go enjoy it. And this is true of every fiat currency right now.
Mm-hmm.
So even the rats are leaving the sinking ship. It is no longer working. And look at where they're coming. And
so many people are hanging onto the ship. Don't sink, don't sink.
Well, again, so coming back to the success thing, because they've tied everything to this financial system. Mm-hmm. So when it fails, what are my choices? So for us, we're like, okay, hurry up and fail already. Let's get something new happening,
right?
And figure out where things are going to be.
The old has to be destroyed,
and
this is what we've been preparing for years.
That's why we call ourselves Ascension Preppers.
Is the unplugging from all of the false matrix programs and systems. One of the deepest programs, and this is part of this drive for the 3D financial success, financial abundance, which really, if we look at it, it's to boost the ego. All of the fame, the followers, the likes, it's for that false dopamine high. Oh my God, I got 1 million likes on this post.
Oh, you know.
But what is it really doing for you? Yeah, your account's being monetized, but deep down,
are you really happy?
Is it making you happy?
Well, like I told you the other day, from here on in, for the remainder of the next 24 months while we're in this solar storm that we're in, do only what makes you happy. If it doesn't bring you joy, fuck it. Don't do it.
Absolutely.
Get up every morning, and if going online and helping people who are working with you doesn't bring you joy, then stop doing it.
Absolutely.
Just do what brings you joy.
But you know, helping people who truly desire to heal, people who truly desire to attain higher consciousness, that brings me so much joy. And that is why this podcaster asked me, so why are you doing what you're doing? Well, you know, to help Mother Earth, because I know that every time someone else raises their frequency, we're contributing to Mother Earth rebirthing herself, which is going to make this rebirth much easier for the collective. And imagine if nobody's doing any healing work, Mother Earth is going to struggle, and she's going to make this rebirth a tough and painful one. Imagine all of humanity experiencing bufo, ego death.
So
it's going to be ugly, because not every bufo ceremony is a beautiful ceremony. It's hello, ego.
So if we think about it, we've been in this spiritual community now for 7 years. Right?
Plant medicine community.
Plant medicine community.
I've been in it for 20 years.
Well, the spiritual portion of it, yeah, we've both been seekers all of our life. But the plant medicine community, being able to host and serve people medicine and all that, we've been doing it for 7 years now. And in the 7 years, we see and saw all the inauthenticity, all the people who are just sailing away with psychedelics from their reptilian brain. Now, we look at the shamans. You know who I'm talking about in particular, our brother who brought us into this community. He's traveling 11 months out of the year. He's traveling to Europe, to all over Turkey, the Far East, all over Latin America, bringing groups and going there and serving medicine to all these people. From the outside, you would think
he's successful.
He's posting every time on Instagram, on WhatsApp
he was
status.
At
he went to the Kumbaya. So you would think that this is successful, but we know his life. We know the inside of his life. He's miserable.
He can't take any time for himself, his family.
So is he successful? From the outside, looks like it. So for us, our success really boils down to, at the end of the day, no matter how much you have or how little you have, are you truly happy with what you have? Do you wake up every day and pinch yourself and go, whose life is this? And how the hell did I end up here? And for me, and this is a conversation you and I always have, for me, if I had to die tomorrow, I die with a smile on my face, because I have achieved way more than the sugarcane farmer at 17 years old who went to Canada and figured something's got to be better than cutting sugarcane every day.
Right. Well, again, you were driven. You sought the more in life. And while we both sought more, yes, we got caught up in the trap of seeking more through work, 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 go, 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 which is the programming. Because one of the things that we both struggle with as we're deprogramming this programming from our body, yes, it's in our body. It's not just in our mind. Spent years trying to deprogram and reprogram my mind. And it still didn't work. And I'm like, why is the same triggers around money showing up? And that's what propelled me on this healing journey, because the programming was in my body, but I was never guided. I never found any modality externally to guide me into my body to get to the programming. And you experience it. It's been how many years that you've not had to report to anyone, not had to work, and you still feel
4
guilty.
years later.
Still
4
feel
years
guilty
later.
sitting around enjoying life or doing nothing or cooking.
Yeah,
or
waking up in the morning and watching a little YouTube and then decide, okay,
still-
I'm going to sit in a hammock and talk to somebody or read something.
it
And
still creeps
yeah,
in. You're guilty. You should be doing something. Come on.
Yeah.
The programming is insane. And there are times for me where it's like, oh, well, I need to be on more podcasts, or I need to send out this email, or I didn't do this, or I didn't do
And
that.
I have to remind you, hey,
That's the programming. Because when I truly let go and I focus on me, my healing and having fun, abundance shows up. Not just financial abundance, but abundance of everything that I desire. Because real abundance, real financial abundance, has to be a mirror of real abundance. And the only way that I was able to find my abundance was on this path to my higher self. And I had to align with my higher path. And that's why I had to go through all my pitfalls and my chiropractic practices to go, shit, it's not working. I'm still frustrated. I'm not waking up in gratitude. I'm not feeling abundant. And speaking of our brother, I used to get frustrated with him all the time. Like, how do I just feel gratitude when I'm feeling all these lower frequency emotions in my body that I have not plowed through yet? How do I just bypass them and magically, okay, I'm grateful, abundance is going to show up? Or even what we did at the beginning of our journey, that looking at it now, it's like just making an offering to Mother Earth. Okay, but I'm making an offering to Mother Earth with an intention, with an expectation.
Absolutely.
From my trauma self.
Absolutely.
Where I'm not vibrating from a place of gratitude. So I'm making an offering to Mother Earth while deep down it's like doing affirmations. I'm abundant, I'm wealthy in the back of my mind, but no, you're not. You have this bill, you have that bill, you got this.
You gotta do that. Yeah.
Okay, so Mother Earth, I'm making this offering. Meanwhile, in the back of my mind, but you're busy and you got this and that. I'm not present with Mother Earth. It's not a real sacred offering anymore. So now it's just going through the motions, which is what we see.
Healing.
And calling it healing. And this is what we see in society today. So many people just going through the motions. And the programming says, you got to work a 9-to-5 job, and you got to have predictable income, and you got to do this, and you got to do that. Which creates this straitjacket feeling that so many people are feeling like it's impossible to break free from. Oh, well, I don't have the opportunities you did. Look how many people tell us, oh, guys, it must be nice. You guys are lucky.
Lucky, yeah. Sugarcane farmer who went to Canada illegally. Lucky. Okay.
Well, luck is the choice that we make.
Yeah, but
luck has nothing to do with it.
But even
we created this reality.
But coming out of the financial portion of it, even if we look at our relationship, which is a big thing for a lot of people, we have what a lot of people would consider an extremely successful relationship.
And abundance.
Because our relationship, who we are on live, is exactly who we are off live. We are just this
all the time.
goofy couple who just go around making fun of each other, triggering each other, and going, okay, let's go heal. You want to go for a bike ride? Yeah, okay, let's go.
Let's go to the hot springs.
Let's go to. So this is who we are. There is no, and this is one of the things that for you and I, we're adamant about, and which is why we stay doing what we're doing instead of just sailing off into the sunset and enjoying life, which we still are doing. But it's the fact that there is no authenticity left in the world. All these people who are gurus and leaders and shamans and medicine servers and medicine people and all the other bullshit labels they want to give themselves. When you peel back the Maya, the illusion of who they appear to be, who are they really?
Well, look at all of these quote unquote influencer coaches who the veils have dropped and they're frauds.
Yeah, they're complete and utter frauds.
Complete frauds. But they've got millions of followers and they have the, the
Look at that-
illusion
that-
of success.
That Jay guy who said, oh, he was a guru and all of this, and he's just turned out to be an absolute fraud.
But even in looking at, well, let's go a step further to the quote unquote, what they consider real gurus, Sadhguru,
Yeah.
Osho. Sorry but not sorry, but I don't want a Rolls Royce. I don't feel that I need that as a emblem of my success and abundance.
Absolutely.
I don't need a chauffeur. I don't need a butler. I don't need security guards like these guys roll around. Why?
For success.
Why do they need a Rolls Royce?
And the spiritual.
That's the cost of a home. Where could you have invested that money to better humanity?
Absolutely.
To contribute to real
And I
change
think-
on Mother Earth instead of, oh, let me have 20 fucking cars to rotate every other day because, I'm Osho or I'm Sadhguru and I'm spiritually enlightened. Because, and yes, I get it. There is this whole other paradigm that if you're spiritual, you got to be broke.
Yep.
Which is a complete and utter lie.
It's a bullshit.
You don't have to be broke. You can be abundant and spiritual. But do you have to go over the top like these rappers and celebrities do? Because to me, that just reeks of ego,
well,
greed.
It's the reeks of look at me. Look at me, I've made it. This is why we
Absolutely.
go out and we buy. Listen, I did it. I'd be the first one to admit it. I did it. I remember buying my first Lexus. Yes, it was used, but it was meticulous. And I was driving a Lexus, living in one of the most sought
But it
after
was
areas
for
in Arizona.
you, was it not? Was it to
Absolutely.
get attention
No.
from all the
no.
followers and to
I couldn't
look
care
how
less.
successful I am?
For me, it was about, wow, I grew up poor. I didn't even have a bicycle. And today I can afford a Lexus or a custom bike.
Well, it's just like our couches. Okay, we could buy any couch, but we want comfy couches that
Exactly.
recline, do we not? We make choices based for us. That's why we have the vehicle we have. Okay, well, let's look at where we're living. Roads are pretty rough, lots of potholes. We need a beast.
And we got a beast.
We didn't get the beast to get looks and attention. Yes, it gets looks and attention.
It's the only beast
But
like
we
it in the
got a
country.
beast because it's functional. It serves us.
Every time we go somewhere, we're grinning from ear to ear as we go looking for waterfalls in a very safe country with just nothing but curiosity and joy, like two children. Like that's why
Yeah.
we bought our mountain bikes. We're like, what if solar flares knock out all the electronics?
How are we going to get to La
How the
Tortuga?
hell do we get to our waterfall? Our beach cruisers aren't going to
They're
do
not
it.
going to make it.
And look, this is what we talk about. We talk about all the human extinction events, and if you've ever been to one of our book readings, you will hear what we talk about with all the human extinction events that are lining up on the planet right now. And we don't live in fear. Our attitude is bring it.
We're having fun.
We're
We're going
having
to go
fun.
out with
We
the
don't-
volcano.
We don't care. And if a solar flare knocks out, or a CME, or a nuclear bomb that knocks out our all of the electronics on the planet, and we're back to the Stone Age, we got bicycle. We can still go to the waterfall. That's all we care
That's all
about.
that matters.
That's all I care about. As long as we can get to the waterfall, I'm good. We got
It's
a
going to be a
garden.
couple hour ride,
Yeah.
but we're good. We might have to walk uphill a few times.
We got a garden. We got food. We know where to
Water.
get water. We're good.
We are good.
Life is good.
And we live in a place where we don't need AC or heat. So
If
we're
we
good.
have to, we're good. So it's success for people means different things. But what we would really encourage you to do is reevaluate what you view as success. Because take it from two people who have chased. We have chased being what society considers a
Yes, we're-
success.
Two A-type personalities. So we know what chasing this looks like and feels like really well.
And like I said, when I reevaluated myself when we left the United States 11 years ago, see, 11 years now, and I'm like, wow, I could retire right now. But I didn't. I still went chasing because I knew I didn't need much. And again, another thing that our society tells us is what it is that you need to quote unquote retire to be successful It's bullshit. We can
Yeah.
tell you it's bullshit because you can actually do this for very little money. We don't have $1 million, nor do we care to.
Look, what is our cost of living every month?
$1,000 a month.
$1,000.
And that's pushing it.
Right?
And that's living the best life possible.
Ever. We lack nothing. We don't need anything.
We just spent $2,000 on bicycles, like we care less. So it's not, as we'll see these humanity extinction events lining up, we know that there is something coming. We know that with this year, 2025, all the arrows are pointing in this direction, that there is going to be a shift. There is some kind of shift, whether that's a spiritual shift, whether it's a geopolitical shift, whether it's a financial shift, but there is definitely a shift. And like I told you yesterday, there are 75 active volcanoes, not just active. There are 75 erupting volcanoes on the planet right now as we speak, while humanity just goes about seeing what Trump is doing and what Diddy's list is coming out and all this distraction. There are 75 erupting volcanoes and 7 of them a supervolcano. 7 with a 95% chance of them exploding. Yeah. And do we care?
No, but the shift you talk about, it's occurring. It's not whether it's a shift here or there. It's a shift in every single arena because we're literally 2 timelines splitting. Gap is getting wide between the 2. And it's just like an earthquake. Mother Earth is releasing pressure, just like all the emotions erupting in our body. This is the shift that we're going under. And these high frequencies coming in are going to bring all of the programs, the success, abundance, you need more, you got to work, do. If that is your automatic operating system, it's going to show up, and it's going to show up loud and clear. And then you're going to feel overwhelmed and frustrated and go into your lack, or you're going to have every opportunity explode and be destroyed. And you're going to be, what the fuck? Well, what do I do now? Because I'm working with a few people who literally, whatever they're trying to do for work or for money, they're not getting anywhere because they're not healing their body. Now that they've started to heal their body, okay, now things are shifting and moving, but the programming still shows up.
Wait, do we have to do something? You mean I just can't sit around and get the DNA upgrade and I can't be a chosen one and be a star seed and go, oh man, I'm going to get upgraded and I'm going to make that jump. I'm going to be a... That doesn't happen?
No, that's part of the spiritual entitlement. Damn. And we're not the only ones saying that. Look who you said, the Hopis the other day said.
The Hopis did say, could you see, for the longest while, and thank you for bringing that up, but for the longest while, even when we were looking at a lot of the Native Americans, a lot of the Mayans, a lot of the more precisely the Sanatan Dharma, a lot of what they've predicted is here. The white buffalo is here. And according to the Hopi legend, for all the different things that we read and saw on YouTube, they all said that humanity on a whole will be able to, there comes a time when the white buffalo shows back up on the planet, when humanity will either have to choose a higher frequency or stay in a devolving timeline, right? Mm-hmm. The white buffalo is here. There's white deer. There is white wolves. There's so many
white moths.
White that is showing up, that this is where we are. Now, what we needed clarity on that I finally got is it all of humanity? Do we all go one direction or the other? Because in the spiritual world, you will hear people go, oh, well, we're all ascending.
Yeah.
But the Hopis were very clear about it. The Hopis said, all of humanity will have a choice. Mm-hmm. So individually, your choice is going to be either a higher frequency timeline or stay on the devolving 3D
lower frequency timeline.
But what they didn't tell you, and what no spiritual people tell you, is it's not just going to happen. You actually have to put in some kind of work, some kind of effort.
Because the spiritual bypassing excuse I've heard oftentimes is, I'm just going to make the choice. Yeah, I'm just choosing the higher timeline. I don't have to put in any work. Yeah. I'm going to go through my life still triggered, still traumatized, disconnected, disembodied, disassociating. But I'm going to choose that higher timeline because, I deserve it.
Taking psychedelics and convincing myself. And again, folks, if you get triggered, you're triggered. If you do psychedelics, we've been in this business now. in this community. I shouldn't say in the business because it's
not
a business for us.
but it's a
But
business for the rest of
we-
the plant medicine world. Look at the commercialization.
This is where I was going with it. If you're doing psychedelics, understand this, whether it's ayahuasca, no matter which it is, the reality of it, bufo, it's a business. Anybody who calls himself a shaman and, oh, I'm this and this, it's a business. That's why they're doing it. We're seeing it. We live in Latin America. This is our third country we're living in. We're seeing it. It's a business.
Yeah.
And if we're doing any psychedelics or any kind of mind altering, which I will always advocate, is where we need to be because of the traumas that we've been living with. We don't have years like yogis do to go into a practice. We got a hyperspeed into this thing, and psychedelics is the hyperspeed. However, if you're doing psychedelics strictly from a place of, oh, I'm just going to sail away, where are you sailing away from?
Reptilian brain, ego, trauma, self. Oh, sound is gone. Thank you, Yolanda. Well, we are wrapping up. Not sure why sound disappeared, but I guess they don't want to hear what we have to say.
I know, right?
That usually happens.
Yolanda, can you hear us now, or?
She's not going to be able to.
All right, folks, if you can hear us, we are, for whatever reason, the sound is gone on us. Yeah, they can still hear us.
Yeah, you
Fantastic.
can. Okay, perfect.
Fantastic.
Perfect. Maybe she just lost it. Oh, you're back. Perfect.
As we were saying, if you're doing psychedelics, any kind of mind altering, which is actually what's required right now as we are in the split. And I'll say this much about the split and you can finish up. You can feel it. If you're doing work on your body, going into your pain body, feeling into where your trauma is being stored, you know that every decision that you make is going to put you in one side of the split or the other, either in a descending status or in an ascending status. How do we know? Because we can actually feel it.
Well, and if you're embodied, you can feel it. Absolutely. But coming back to wrapping it up full circle now, this programming that is stored in the body and in the mind, because it's programming that it's tied to the not enough wound. We all have a not enough wound. Like I began at the beginning, just because someone has millions of dollars, they still have poverty consciousness programming. A lot of our wealthy neighbors here.
They laugh at us. They laugh at us. They think we're crazy.
Take time to get together, to show up for healing because they're busy. Go, go, go. Do. Need more money.
Well, they all think we're crazy. They're like, you guys are just retired enjoying yourself every day. Look at the couple that we gave a ride to the other day. He owns a rum company. He owns the right to Angostura. That thing's worth millions. And they laughed at us when we tell them, oh, wait, you guys are way too young to. So you live here full time? Uh-huh. Yeah. They're like, we've been here for 3 generations and we can't afford to live here full time.
Yeah, because you got to keep going. Again, keep you plugged into that system because the success and abundance in the 3D world on the devolving timeline, you still believe that it's going to give you what you're looking for, but it's not. What you're really looking for is your higher self. And that is this path home when you deprogram this programming, because that's exactly what it is. Reflection questions for you. What is your version of success? What is your definition of success? What does abundance mean to you? Because for me, abundance is an abundance of connection to my higher self.
And can I throw one?
Go ahead. Can you wait? There's one thing I want to get out here. So when I tap into embodying my higher self, now I have an abundance of connection. So I've switched from that 75% connection to ego, 25% connection to higher self. I'm switching it. So now it's 75% connection to higher self, 25% connection to ego, and getting less and less by the day, because all of these traumas and wounds that we've experienced from abandonment, rejection, betrayal, not enoughness, unlovable, perfectionism, injustice, you name it. All of that is what gives rise to this poverty consciousness programming, lack, not enoughness, the constant chasing of financial success and abundance. So traumas are the root. They are the root cause of your pain and suffering when it comes to chasing success and abundance. The other part of that is these traumas are psychosomatic, hence why doing something externally, which is neither psycho or somatic, is ever going to lead you home to your real higher abundance. Because real higher abundance is when your higher self is embodied. Then you can be the frequency of abundance. You can be the frequency of success, higher success, not 3D reality patriarchal version of success. And how do you get there? Well, psychosomatic says it all. We are a trio, are we not? We are a mind, a body, and a soul. Except right now in this lower reality, 3D reality that we've been living in, we're living in our ego. We call it the mind.
Our soul is fractured.
Soul is fragmented and fractured.
From
So
every trauma.
ego creates these false identities called trauma selves to run the show. We're disconnected and disembodied. So we have a pain body running the show.
Even
We're not in our divine mind. We're in our reptilian brain, which is our fight, flight, freeze brain. So out of the mind, body, soul trio complex, none of them are connected, and we're in a lower state in every single one of them. The only way we can get to real, true success and abundance is to rebirth mind, body, and soul. So we have to rebirth ourselves out of our reptilian brain into our higher divine mind. We have to rebirth ourselves out of our pain body into our light body. Literally, pun intended, it's light. We can't have all these traumas weighing us down.
It's a liquid crystallized body.
And in doing so, in healing these traumas psychosomatically, but it begins somatically and then psycho follows, the stories get to let go, then we get to come home to our higher self. We're letting those trauma selves, false identities created by the ego, to die. And that is where I have found my real currency, which is the currency of energy, currency of frequency.
The currency of joy and happiness, of waking up every morning.
Real frequencies of joy and happiness.
Not just put on.
Happy, happy, joy, joy. I'm going to pretend that I'm happy and joyful.
And like we always say, if not now, when? If you're not living life beyond your wildest dreams right now, when? When are we going to put the can down? Next month, next year, 2 years from now, 5 years from now? Open your eyes and see what's going on around the world. We may not have 2 years or 5 years. We may not even have 6 months, realistically. Again, no fear to anybody. But there is this alignment according to Vedic astrology, which is the oldest astrology in the world. This alignment that's happening on the 29th. Whenever this alignment has happened in history, there has been major catastrophe, major shift, major upheaval. So something's coming. We have to choose really quickly now what level of healing do we want to be in, what frequency we want to be in every day.
Well, and again, you can't just bypass and jump to a higher frequency without descending into your body and de-armoring and transmuting these lower frequencies. To me, it's logical. It's plain and simple. That was the journey I've been on with all of my trials, tribulations, and challenges with money. I knew I had to be the frequency of abundance. Okay, then how the fuck do I get there? Because I can't just fake it till I make it. That's not working.
That's never worked.
And the frequency of abundance, well, I know my womb gives birth to my reality. So it makes sense. I have to descend into my womb and de-armor my womb, which is a cauldron. Stores all traumas and emotions. The frequency of abundance is not there. That's why I'm not creating abundance. It's pretty simple.
All right, we got to wrap up.
So with that being said,
I'm hungry.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Sisters, I have a womb Kriya ceremony on Saturday. We're going to be diving deep into liberating your inner child, and a womb steam ceremony on Sunday, diving deep and de-armoring your womb of fear of rejection and fear of losing the masculine, which weaves right into the fear of losing money, because money is a masculine energy.
And on April, when is the book reading?
Saturday, April 12th.
If there is still technology and we are still here,
we're going to create it. We'll be here.
We will be here doing our book reading. And if not, it's been a blast.
So if any of you have any questions, desire to join the ceremonies, reach out. You know where to find us. I'm more active on Telegram than any of these social media channels. So if you're not on my Telegram channel, please come follow me on Telegram. Have a beautiful day.
Have a wonderful
Bye-bye.
day.